Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I just kind of wanted to talk about choosing yourself first, why it's important to choose yourself first, in what situations, and is it ever selfish to choose yourself first? So we're just going to kind of discuss, a few things, a few points on, the psychology behind it, why it's important, and, what you can really do and accomplish with it. This sounds like an important thing, so obviously it is important to take care of yourself, choose yourself first, but subconsciously we do have a tendency to really feel guilty more than anything when we're choosing ourselves. So that can come from, one, trauma, and just repeated cycle patterns from our parents, from society, and familiarizing with societal standards. And so to kind of break away from that conditioning, you really have to first analyze, are you a selfish person? And if you're questioning that, I'm not going to say that all the time, but usually when you're questioning that, you're probably not a selfish person, because selfish people don't think about, other people. They don't tend to think about other people. And that's not really going to go, it's not going to say much for everyone. However, if you're questioning your ideals and other people's ideals, you usually will have a tendency to actually care about other people's feelings. So it comes from a good place, and it's not always necessarily the right choice to choose yourself first. Sometimes we do need to be selfish, especially when loved ones and people who are I wouldn't say incapable, but have less capabilities than us, and we just have a better standing point. We have more ability to take care of a situation than others. So it is ideally important to also stand in those situations and, take your kind of, best judgment on that call. But when choosing yourself, it's really important, especially in relationships and friendships, because we tend to, from abandonment issues, I feel like more than anything, a lot of abandonment trauma, we tend to kind of, gratify or seek gratification from other people. So we tend to do a lot more than what, energetically we're capable of. So we tend to open ourselves out a little bit more than what we should be to, certain people who don't reciprocate that energy. And that's really where you really want to analyze your situations is reciprocation. Are you receiving the same type of energy, and not even in a selfish way too, because you shouldn't expect things from people, right? We should never expect somebody to go out of their way for us. We should never do that, because one, that's just wrong. Two, energetically you don't know what somebody's capable of, if they're having a bad day, or some of the things, the situations they've gone through. They don't necessarily owe you anything, right? Nobody owes anyone anything. I mean, unless you got some debt in your bank account like I do, but that's a different story. So when we try to analyze that type of, scenario, is it okay if I put myself first in the situation? Are they going to look out, is the other person that's involved in the situation, are they going to look out for my best interest? And, if you have to question that, firstly, you should be really, thinking about that, and where their energy is placed. And is it placed in, ideally, like, a genuine, pure place, or is it kind of thwarted? Are they confused about how they feel? Are they confused about what their wants and needs are? Because at the end of the day, nobody's going to know what somebody else wants. And also, somebody might change their mind about what they want. So that's also something to consider. And it's not necessarily selfish to change your mind. It's just naturally something we do through experience. We experience one thing, and, time and energy and experiences drift us off to some other place. And that's just how it goes. It's just natural. There's no I'm gonna say this in this video because I feel like it has some standing point. It is a lot deeper, a lot bigger of a question, a lot bigger of a, sentence and topic to talk about. But, there's no real good and evil in this world. And I know a lot of people might disagree with that, but there are a lot of more elements to this world in this realm that we are capable of understanding on an individual basis and even as a collective basis. There's a lot of disciplines, there's a lot of choices, hard choices. And I'm talking about difficult choices, life or death choices here, not just, should I make coffee in the morning type of choices. It's deep shit. And we won't talk about that much in this video because it's, I could really go on about that. But with good and evil, setting that aside, you have to analyze the situation, analyze the different parts and the different, pieces of the puzzle, and kind of, figure out where an energy is going, where it's been placed, and if it's going to be in your best interest more than anything. And, not always do we know what our best interests are, but we do know what's best for us deep down. And ideally, in life, we go through these patterns and cycles, and we see them a lot in our relationships more than anything, and our friendships too. Relationships and friendships go hand in hand, whether you believe it or not. So you have to really see the patterns in your friendships, I believe, more than anything. Are you kind of giving the same energy to different people, like equally? Is that coming from you? Are you giving your energy away just, to whoever? Because you don't want to do that. I'll tell you why. Because that energy will not be reciprocated. Not all the time. So going back to what I was talking about at the beginning of the video, you really need to analyze and figure out when energy is being reciprocated so you can recharge your own battery. And that also goes to say that I'm not telling you should receive energy from people because, again, we're not supposed to be energy vampires here. We're not supposed to expect things from people. But you do want to see where people's energies are placed, is where their intentions are placed. Are they placed in your best interest? Do they care about your interest at all? Do they care about your feelings, what your wants and your needs are? Have they discussed that with you? There you go. That's the biggest question you gotta answer for yourself, or at least ask for yourself. Maybe not answer, because we don't always have the answers. So, the reason it's not selfish to choose yourself first, because you do not owe anything to anybody in this world. And, karmically, I'm not going to say that maybe you should be a little selfless. You should make that best judgment call. You should always make that best judgment call. However, in our society, we don't owe anything to anybody. The only thing we owe is to ourselves. We owe our own energy to ourselves. We owe our own disciplines to ourselves. We are in charge of our own lives. We're in charge of our own disciplines. We're in charge of getting up in the morning. We're in charge of going to work. Nobody else is going to be like, hey, you need to go to work today. Get out of bed. Nobody's going to do that for you. That's you. So with that in mind, realizing that this is your life, this is where you want to place your energy, you start to realize that there are more important places to be putting your energy, and being able to put that back into yourself without putting it into outside sources is the most essential and beneficial thing you can do for yourself. And through society standards, we've been taught usually the opposite of that. We've also been taught selfish things too through media and music and just talking to each other. So there's also that to keep in mind. because you do also want to make sure that you're not just a selfish person that, doesn't give a shit about what somebody else's opinion is or what their feelings are, because you also do want to keep, other people's energies and minds, and you also want to have the intent that people feel differently than you, and you can't sit there and hold judgment or resentment for somebody having different wants or needs than you. You just have to realize that, when energy clashes and it's not meant to be in a place, you can feel that vibe, you can feel that vibration, you can feel that frequency. So you really have to understand that for yourself, so you're not wasting your own time and energy on something, on a situation that you won't benefit or even learn from. At least have a learning lesson from a relationship or situation you're stuck in. That's my word of advice, though. So there's other situations too when we choose ourselves, like opinions of other people. Like, are other people's opinions important? Like, when it comes to opinions of others, we shouldn't, let other people decide things for us, right? We should never, let somebody put us down, put, our work down, our craft down, tell us that we're doing something wrong, when there's, definitely multiple ways to do something. However, you should still respect other people's opinions and be able to kind of, take in that energy to consideration, because some people do have good opinions. Some people have experiences that they can share with you that they've already gone through and that you can learn from, so you don't have to go through those same experiences over and over again. So that's also something to keep in mind with opinions. But ideally, the most important thing when choosing yourself, don't just act on, emotion. Don't react towards a situation. Try to break things down. Realize that, if there's multiple people involved in a situation, there may be multiple energies involved, and maybe some people don't really know where they want to place their energy, and that's something that you have to live with, you have to respect and have to understand, but also you can walk away from very easily. So, maybe journal things, maybe write some points down, figure out where somebody's coming from through communication. Open, healthy communication is always best for those types of situations, right? So just think about those sorts of things. But that's really what I wanted to talk about. I know there's probably some more important points to, choosing yourself first, but I think that was really kind of the thing I wanted to talk about. I know a lot of people were kind of going through this type of, I want to say guilt, a lot of guilt, because that's where a lot of this energy comes from, is guilt and shame of, not putting yourself first, and, we didn't care about that other person's opinion, we didn't care about their feelings, so fuck, I'm doing something wrong. No, put yourself first, communicate with that person involved, and, be honest and open about where your energy is, and then the situation will either resolve itself, or you'll find out some true colors from the other person. So, either way, it's a win-win for you. Just open, honest communication is really what's best for those types of situations. So again, that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about. I know a lot of people are going through and experiencing the same thing and felt like a lot of guilt this week, going through their similar patterns. So I just wanted to bring that up. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, don't agree with the point, leave it down in the comment section. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. You guys have a great weekend. I'll probably see you again on Monday. Yeah. I'm going to get back to a regular YouTube schedule. I can't talk right now. I promise. Okay, later. Peace.